We know that the class string inherits the method hashCode and equals from the class java.lang.object, and after inheriting these methods, the class string overrides them. But the StringBuffer class only inherits these methods from the class java.lang.object and never override them. That's how the default implementation of these methods in the class object is used by the class StringBuffer. Namaste everyone, I am Gyan and you are watching the session 18 of Java and Web, String API in Java. Equals and hashCode methods are inherited by StringBuffer class from the class object, but these methods are never overridden by the class StringBuffer. The default implementation of the hashCode in the class object is used by the class StringBuffer. So unlike the class string, the hashCode method in the case of StringBuffer does not depend on its content. It returns different numbers for the different StringBuffer objects, even with the same contents. If you remember, in the case of the class string, the hashCode method returns same integer if the content of the two string objects are same. But here in this case, we are using the StringBuffer object instead of string object, and we are creating a new StringBuffer object by using the content hello, whose reference will be stored into the reference variable s. Again, in the second statement, we are creating a new StringBuffer object by using the same content hello, whose reference will be stored into the reference variable s1. The two StringBuffer objects will be created in the heap, whose references are stored into various reference variables of type StringBuffer. We are calling the method hashCode by using the reference variable s, and then we are calling the method hashCode by using the reference variable s1. Here in this case, the content of two StringBuffer objects are same. But even if the content in these two StringBuffer objects are same, then also the hashCode returns two different integers. So in this case, the hashCode method is returning on the basis of the object reference. The object references in these two reference variables are different. That's how the integers returned by the method calls are different. The integer returned by the hashCode method does not depend on the content of the StringBuffer. When we talk about the equals method, the default implementation of equals method in the class object is used by the class StringBuffer. Again, the class StringBuffer inherits the equals method but does not override it. So unlike string, the equals method does reference comparison rather than the content comparison. That's how the equals method of the StringBuffer class always does the reference comparison. The equals method of the StringBuffer class never does the content comparison, but equals method of the string class does the content comparison, not reference comparison. This point you should remember, this point you should note down. Equals method is overridden in the class string. Equals method is not overridden in the class StringBuffer or in the class StringBuilder. So in this case, we have the Java file first.java. In the first.java, we have the class first. In the class first, we have the method main. In the method main, we are creating a new StringBuffer object with the content hello, whose reference will be stored into the reference variable s of type StringBuffer. Again, we are creating a new StringBuffer object with the content hello, whose reference will be stored into the reference variable s1 of type StringBuffer. These two objects will be created in the heap. Then we are comparing if s is equal to s1 or not. We know that the operator double equals does the reference comparison. So in this case, these two string objects are different. That's how the equals operator returns false. And we know that the default implementation of the equals method in the class object does the reference comparison. That's how in the case of the equals method also, the equals method returns false. S is not equal to S1 because S and S1 are pointing to two different objects, two different StringBuffer objects. And in the case of StringBuffer, the equals method does reference comparison, not content comparison. These are the few important questions can be asked in Java interview room. If we talk about equalsIgnoreCase method, then no such method exists in the StringBuffer class. We know that equalsIgnoreCase method exists in the string class, but no such method exists in the StringBuffer class. And there is no overridden hashCode or equals method in the StringBuffer or StringBuilder classes. That's all for this video guys. Don't forget to like and share this video, subscribe my channel on YouTube, like my page on Facebook, and leave your valuable comments in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.